Hey everyone, I just wanted to make a video and talk specifically about my condition, Episodic Ataxia type 2, and show some videos and all in one video. Some of it's gonna be what I had already posted and whatnot, but I just wanted to make a little slideshow and let you see what it was like for me to experience it. Episodic Ataxia type 2 is when a person experiences, which I have, is when a person experiences sporadic bouts of severe incoordination, imbalance, nausea and vomiting and whatnot. Person can experience person often has nystagmus, which are involuntary eye movements in between having episodes. And I have subtle tremor and nystagmus that I have pretty consistently despite of not having an episode of my severe ataxia. Episodes can range from mild to severe, depending on the episode and the day. In severe cases, I've been in a wheelchair. In milder cases, I've managed to walk during them. It's just that I appear a little bit unsteady. And I go through this fatigue pretty often, pretty much daily, where I'm just feeling tired. Another thing I noticed is that, and this I experience constantly, episode or not, I have slow motor movements, so I can't physically keep my body moving at a quick pace, like keeping up with certain things physically. So I've struggled in finding a job where I've had to work at a quick pace and I had to multitask. I could not do that kind of job because if it got too busy, I'd become easily overwhelmed because I can't make my body go fast enough to do what needed to be done. So I just stay away from doing things like that. And I'm like that all the time, episode or not. So, the dizziness I get is severely debilitating, and I often have to sleep for it to pass. Dizziness and vomiting is associated with episodic ataxia, and I often, if I feel sick from it, like literally, I would have to sleep it off. And these episodes can last hours at a time. But the dizziness is like severely debilitating dizziness. It's not like, oh, I feel lightheaded, I'm just gonna push through my day. Despite of it, I cannot do anything when it happens. That's how severe the dizziness gets. The vertigo, this feeling that the room is spinning. And that makes me sick. But I'm gonna briefly show you an example of my walking at the moment and show you like currently how I'm doing without being currently in an episode. So I'm going to show you an example of that. So here goes. This is me currently without being in an episodic ataxia episode. The neurologist said I have minor coordination problems, but they're so subtle that they can go unnoticed. I have instances where I'm walking heel to toe, but I feel pretty wobbly. I don't appear to have too much of a wide-based gait, which is when you're like walking like this. It's just that periodically, when I'm doing day-to-day activities, I feel like I periodically lose my balance. But most of the time I have to be doing something for it to happen. Like when I'm doing some sort of activity, going about my day, I notice I become, or I'm like wobbly, or I like lose my balance occasionally. That can happen to me multiple times in a day. And it often happens even when I'm not feeling dizzy or sick from my episodic ataxia. And that's an example of how I'm doing currently at this very moment, without being in a really bad episode I get. I will show you additional videos here. During an episodic ataxia episode, this video I show my eye condition nystagmus for episodic ataxia awareness. Nystagmus is an eye movement condition caused by my episodic ataxia type 2, which is a neurological condition, where a person experiences episodes of poor coordination and balance, and vertigo, dizziness, nausea and vomiting, in some cases seizures, tremors and twitching, muscle twitches, but in type 2, episodes tend to last hours to days and can be associated with progressive ataxia. You can also experience or eventually develop persistent symptoms in between episodes in episodic ataxia. In type 2, this often is nystagmus, which is the eye condition I have consistently without being in an episodic ataxia episode. And that's what episodic ataxia is, and nystagmus associated with the disorder. Episodic ataxia type 2 is a neurological condition in which the person experiences reoccurring episodes of ataxia, poor coordination, imbalance, dizziness, vertigo, nausea and vomiting, among other symptoms, though it can be associated with progressive ataxia. Eventually, the person with episodic ataxia can lead to having progressive ataxia or balance problems in between their episodes, or coordination problems. And the person may experience tremors, muscle twitching. And this is a video of my slight, subtle twitching of my fingers and hands. I wanted to show in this video. It's subtle in between episodes, and it's pretty consistent, though it can get pretty obvious during an episode where it appears like I'm shaking with the tremors.